my friends stand by me only if I'm right. I come out of triple darkness just to see the light. If I say it once, I guarantee I say it twice. If they want me, I ain't going out without a fight. In my dreams, I'm a killer, but for God, man. Try to play it cool, but it's getting hard, man. Rolling with the real and death to all the frauds, man. Not too many on me, yeah, it's kinda hard, man. In my room, sitting in my room. Know they waiting on me and I'm coming soon. Never been a sellout, never been a coon. Y'all be on the camera acting, I'ma show them how I true and independent.
You gotta know who you are. Cause when you know who you are, you know what you're going for and what you ain't going for. All right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, you have to have instilled in them a message that, man, you don't do anything for money, man.
Right.
You don't do anything for money.
Right. What's good, brothers? What's good? What's good? What's good?
Yeah.
Back at it again. Back at it again. You know, always some hot topics going on. A lot of stuff been swirling around in the media. I know one of the hot topics in my house this week, having young adult men and sons, has been all of this stuff going on in the entertainment industry with the accusations. And more specifically, I'm talking about accusations or lawsuits, civil suits against P. Diddy, Love, Diddy got all those different names, Sean Combs, for with the Cassie situation. She claimed that he manipulated her, sexually harassed her, had her performing sex acts with other men, all of these things. There's now a producer just last year that worked on his latest album that has made similar accusation of male, not with Diddy, but that Diddy had him doing sex acts with other producers. And there's this whole scandal. Meek Mill's name came up. Usher's name came up. Cat Williams talked about Hollywood and the lure of Hollywood and the Illuminati and the price people have to pay for success. So as it relates to this podcast, we talk about how we try to help develop our sons and what we want to share with other people, with children, and just in general, is when it comes to that ambitious pursuit for success, what is the message you want to leave about maintaining one's dignity in that journey? Because you can get it. Like I heard Cat Williams, quoting Cat Williams is funny because it's never so what I thought I would be quoting like in a public setting. But he said, but we all know that grassroots knowledge. Listen, he said, I already know. I believe him when he said he read 3,000 books. I believe him. But anyway, he said, number one, he said this was the year of truth. And a lot of stuff has come out in 2024.
You believe he ran that 4.3?
I know he didn't run a 4.3. I know he didn't. No, he ran a 4.3, but he didn't run 40 yards.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah. But to that point though, man, I didn't think I would be quoting him, but he was talking about the price people have to pay for their success, and you selling your soul for the devil. So as it relates to us being parents, fathers, community members, what did you all teach your sons about pursuing ambition but remaining some type of ethical code and not giving up your world?
For me personally, one of the first things I tried to talk about was operating with a level of integrity at all times. When you see somebody in the limelight, or you see them to have whatever level of success you perceive them to have, always understand and always remember, you never know what they did to get it, and you have no idea what they're doing to keep it.
Right.
All right. And so it doesn't matter. So now seeing, whatever they saying about Diddy or whatever they saying about TD Jakes or whatever, it don't matter.
You mentioned TD Jakes. I didn't mention TD Jakes. What are you trying to talk about? What are the accusations about TD Jakes? I
don't know what they said about TD. I don't know what they said about TD.
That was really Bobby Brown. That wasn't TD Jakes.
Well, okay.
No, they did. They did. That TD Jakes came up with rumors. I don't know, but with Diddy and it was some graphic rumors.
What I always try to tell my
boys, throw the dirt in there.
I always try to tell my boys, if you operate with a level of integrity, you don't ever have to worry about stuff coming back on you. I remember when Darius and I first started being out, and I'm kind of, like schooling them and teaching them the ticket scalping game, right? and you out there and you asking people for tickets and you, hey, anybody got extra tickets? It invariably will happen that a person will want to sell you a ticket, but they want to say, they hope you're going in on the ticket. So they're like, what are you going to do with this ticket? You know, because they think you're going to say, I'm going to use it and lie to them. I said, no, anytime anybody asks you what you're going to do with that ticket, you tell them you're going to sell it. Mm-hmm. Because if they don't want to give you their ticket, that's fine. It's okay. Let them go on about their business, keep their ticket. You don't know why they may need you to go in on that ticket. You know what I mean? So never tell those people that you're going to use that ticket if you're not. Just operate with that level of integrity. Because guess what? You're going to be out here next week looking for tickets. Them same people going to come by. You know what I mean?
Could he say, I don't know?
Season ticket.
No,
I don't know.
Because that ain't the truth.
This the best
The
ticket.
truth is,
right.
The truth is, I'm going to sell this ticket. And guess what? It's some people that'll come by and be like, you know what? Are you going to sell this ticket? You say, yeah. They say, here, make yourself a lot of money.
But you know what? And the person, I was joking about.
I know.
But the person, when that honesty, they recognize that honesty and probably say, I didn't want to, but I'm going to give it to him anyway because he was honest.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's a level of integrity. Corey, younger son, play video games for a living. All right. You know how much cheating going on in the video game world?
Nah.
Online? It is a lot of cheating going on.
Oh, wow.
And I would always tell him, hey, yo, I don't care what the other players are doing. I don't care. You make sure you following the rules.
He was tempted. He was tempted to cheat.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think he was tempted to cheat. But
you had to let him know though. You had to put that announcement out
because I hear his frustration when he losing. You know what I mean? I hear how frustrated he gets when he losing. And so he like, man, they cheat. They ain't doing what he all upset. I'm like, hey, that's okay. Don't worry about it. It will all pan out, later on. You will benefit eventually, because I'm a firm believer in this, and my boys can tell you, I say this to them all the time. Sometimes when you win, you lose. And sometimes when you lose, you win.
There we got started now, y'all.
Yeah.
What? We got started.
The latest Marquism for 2024.
Yes, sir. Go ahead again one more time.
Hey, sometimes when you win, you lose. And sometimes when you lose, you win.
What it make me think about is one of the things we fail to do is, sometimes we think when we're dealing with children, even younger children, we try to manage the messaging or how in depth or detailed a concept can be that they can grasp. So we sort of baby them a little bit on some things, right? When at school, they're pushing every day, attempting to push critical thinking. I want you to take risks with how you think, right? And so one of the things we fail to do is teach them these broad concepts about universal law, karma. It's real easy to teach about karma at a young age because it's in everyday life. It's in the books they read about the ants. It's in this. That's karma. That's this. That's what happens to people, right? And so when we don't do those things, because my main thing I wanted to teach my sons, or make sure you know, is that when you're trying to maintain integrity, it always involves you giving up and losing and making that sacrifice, to your point about what that you just made. You're always going to lose something. You're always going to suffer when you stand on principle in a world where standing on principle isn't as common. So if you're comfortable with losing and not having whatever it is that you're going to lose out, because you're going to pay a price for standing on principle.
Yeah.
And in the Hollywood entertainers case, it might be your career. It might be that you can't get to the next level. And I heard, what's the brother's name, Darius? Is it Lecrae? I know you know about it. He's a Christian rapper, right? The brother was talking about his experience. He was like, yeah.
The other day.
It happened. He was like, let me say it. It's like this. He was talking about his situation. Am I confusing him with somebody else? Another MC, I can't think of it, was saying this. He said, it's not that they're going to block you from being successful if you have your own individual motion. But getting to the next level where you achieve massive success it's doors you gonna have to. It was Mace.
It was Mace.
It was Mace. He said it's doors you gonna have to choose, and at this door is the gay thing he was suggesting. Over here, it's some other stuff. It might be it might, he said, or the straight road is you just doing it on your own. But you're not gonna get the guy that came to you and said, hey, if you want to play ball, I can get you there like tomorrow. Right? So, but if you're willing to say as a rapper right now, for example, or back then, you know what? I don't need 10 million. I'm good with 500 independent, 500,000 or $1 million. You can possibly maintain your dignity. But if you have an ego that desires success and you're not willing to give up your pursuit of the feeling of being successful, then you gave up your dignity in the pursuit of success.
Hey man, you don't quote Charleston White to me, man.
Who was that?
That's what Charleston said.
Charleston White
Charleston
said that?
I'm 5 million. That's all I need.
Charleston White must have read some old articles I wrote back in the day.
He said 5 million. That's all I need. Anything above that
Real
is too
talk.
much. Yeah, he said it's too much.
But man,
that they want you to do.
here's the thing that we want to be careful of
Uh-huh.
is that we don't want to in any kind of way seem like we're giving off the message, which is a poverty mindset that wealthy people do wicked stuff to get their wealth.
But they do.
But that's not the message we want to say.
Why? That's the truth.
You know that you right. That is so true, and that's what me and my son have gone back and forth about. Because when you look at the history, how the country was built, how the massive wealth was built in this country.
You back on your thing from the last episode of, what was it, unprincipled peace and...
Yeah.
So now we saying...
Moral conflict or unprincipled peace.
Suggesting, don't tell the truth about how money is really made because that inspires a poverty mindset?
No, I think I want to send a message that you can have massive success without doing that. Are we saying you can't?
You can listen. No. If to me,
okay, that's what I'm saying.
If we point out the wickedness of the game, to me, I'm hipping you to the game.
That's true.
And I'm letting you know it's sharks out there. So understand why you in this, that it's real sharks and it's people in it to kill you. So you gotta know that, but you don't have to play that. You shouldn't play that because you can win anyway. I'm with that.
That's the message I'm saying.
So
that's what I'm saying.
At what point or how soon do you bring that up?
The truth?
No. As far as because it's certain levels, that or gates. You know what I'm saying? That of success. That okay, to get to this next level, here's what's going to have to happen. So you know what I'm saying? How is it that you gauge or know? Or do you just say it from the onset and then just kind of remind at each level or whatever? You know what I mean?
Let me give you an example. Let me give you a quick example. So my son is an aspiring artist.
Okay.
He got a contract, right?
For
the rap game.
Okay.
So we sent his video in. They called and said, hey, we interested. We sent his music in, right? They said, hey, we interested. Send us some more of his music. At the time, he had like 9-10 songs. We sent it in. They come, hey, this is when I learned how those shows work, reality shows.
Okay.
Hey, we want to build a show around him. It ain't no contest, bro. We want to build a show. We think he once in a generation talent. We want to build a show around him. We started the process, psychological evaluations. Have you ever thought about mutilating an animal and all this stuff for him?
Oh, yeah?
They do all that, right?
Right.
Get the contract, horrible contract. I'm not even going to name no name. Okay. Horrible contract, slavery, right? Of course we're not going to sign it. He was to go to Atlanta with my wife, with Patrice for, I think it was 2 months they were going to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Minimal pay you get during the thing, but you get compensated. But the point is, with the way the contract was written, they were owing him for like 5 years. He was 17 at the time. It was a 5-year contract. They had first right of refusal, right? Meaning they can say, we want you back, but he can't get out. And I'm putting all the business out there, right? And they own any music he did before, anything he do after. He can't, if he leaves the contract, if they do let him leave, he can't produce an original music for 2 years or be on another show. All of this crazy
just
stuff.
Trash.
Of course, we was like, I mean, come on, man. Like, no. I think my wife actually disrespected a famous producer. I wasn't even home. I said, Lord have mercy. I said, babe, why did you even answer? But anyway, but I'm saying all of this to say, if we had signed that contract and he got locked into that level of slavery and he was good, how do you mentally deal with slavery like that and get out of it when they demanded more music, more out of you to make it, and you owe more and more? How much are you willing to give up more and more and more and more? You know. Let me
ask you this question: what's the difference in that scenario if y'all poor? See, because morality get real good when you got a little money in the bank.
The difference when you're poor.
You said, wait, what? You said morality what?
Your morality gets better when you got a little money in the bank.
No. It gets better if you have not been taught properly.
I was about to say.
And embrace a philosophical, because you can be poor and embrace a life philosophy that governs your ethic, and there's millions of them that do it every day.
Agreed.
That we all know. So to me, greed knows no socioeconomic scale or social ladder. It's a human failing. So yeah, but in terms of practicality, if you're poor, you're more apt to fall victim to the manipulators that do this. And that's an absolute 100% fact. And therein lies why I say we got to tell the truth to these young brothers earlier and get entrepreneurial and say, hey, you can be independent now. You don't need a label. You can grow your own audience and you can build a nice life for yourself as opposed to this fabricated life of debt that these rappers say they have, and they owe millions in albums that none of us even know about.
And you know, I think it's super important. Before you even get to that moment, you have to have done the groundwork in terms of raising those kids properly and teaching them so that they know who they are.
Right.
You got to know who you are. Because when you know who you are, you know what you're going for and what you ain't going for. All right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, you have to have instilled in them a message that, man, you don't do anything for money, man.
Right.
You don't do anything for money.
Right.
You know, money is nice, but you just cannot do anything for money. When me and Darius going back and forth about it, you know, hey, John, remember the show you told me about? It was on History Channel, the Men That Built America.
Yeah.
That's an amazing show. If anybody get a chance to watch that,
yeah,
talk about the Andrew Carnegies of the world and the Henry Fords of the world and the Milton Hershey's of the world and how they built these, mega institutions, and some of the things they did to do it. You know what I mean?
Was it wicked, as he mentioned earlier?
Well, they didn't make it completely wicked on the show. They didn't go. They cleaned it up.
All the wicked.
They said Milton Hershey did some stuff, but then they said, but he started an orphanage and he let black kids in.
They pivoted into some more. Okay,
you got to know who you are, man. You got to know who you are, and it don't matter whether you in big business or whether you in a jail cell.
We're talking entertainment, but we know that was just an example that started. It live everywhere, like you said.
No, that was a great example though too, because they were probably counting on the idea of fame and being seen. You know what I mean, and not having a wise parent such as yourself to do the due diligence to make sure and see if the contract was garbage or not. You know what I mean?
They bought into all that because they was like, oh, your mom's a principal of an elementary school? They did all of that, bro. You know what I'm saying? What's your educational philosophy? So they was spinning it. And of course, Patrice's personality blew them away when they interviewed her, right? You know what I'm saying? So they had the story. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would he have been out of the contract?
Father's an educator, principal, English master's degree, mom, educator, principal. He's verbal, can write. He's a rapper, story, right? You know what I'm saying?
Would he have been out of that contract today?
Was that
no?
Oh, okay.
What'd you say, Jay?
I said, would he have been out of it today? I heard what he said, but I wanted to double check that.
He would have been.
He said not just in 4
even
or 5
if you were
years
great
after 5
and
years.
amazing, you a slave. I got you.
And it's funny you say that because you started to think about some of the artists you really like now. They just getting out of these contracts.
Yeah. And we're finding out they our age.
Yeah. I mean, just
I'm exaggerating,
like somebody
but
like somebody like Usher. I've been watching a ton of his interviews here lately, just falling in love with a lot of his interviews, and he's so excited, and you can hear the freeness in his voice of him talking about how he just independent now.
Man,
just think about how long we done seen him since he was
You wouldn't send Tyreek at 12 years old to go live with P. Diddy and have him trained to be a singer.
I ain't sending my son to
it's
live
back
with
to the same R. Kelly thing. Like the mom,
they
sent the girls to go live with R. Kelly.
Nobody.
They sent them to the condo, right?
Right.
And so that's so we really talking about greed, right? So how do you so that's what we really talking about in terms of maintaining your integrity on the pathway to success. Is don't be greedy. Why are we greedy? And when we're desperate, we're getting manipulated. And that's just not, again, if we take it to outside of entertainment, we got stories where everyday good-meaning people are being manipulated at jobs, at schools, at other institutions to do things, women being coerced to have sex with bosses. I mean, we all know it's all out there, right? And not only that, that's the harassment side. The other side is people just being willing to do whatever to get whatever. I mean, you right?
Yeah, because
some people being coerced, some people like, yo, I'm about this.
What we talking about is the entertainment world, right? And a lot of times in this country, the only thing we've been allowed to do is entertain. And so we see our way out is through music, athletics, entertainment. So just piggybacking on what you were saying, it's so many more ways to get rich, right? But that's what we want to do, right? And so what you're talking about is proverbial casting couch that's been around forever. So now
go back. What's that?
The casting couch.
Okay.
Yeah, what a lady has to do in order to get this acting role.
Yeah, okay.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. And so now it seems like it's applying to men and women.
Epstein.
Right? and so when you talk about the men who made America, so to speak, so how does this translate into other industries? How come we don't feel like we can't be those blue collar millionaires and make money off of HVAC company or medical transportation company or some sort of industry, right? Well, we don't depend on popularity, so to speak. Well, we can create a product and sell a product rather than, again, it be the entertainment industry.
I guess one thing is they ain't glorifying it.
Or again, like I said, we weren't allowed to. And when we was allowed to after Reconstruction, we was killing it. Oh shit, they killing it. Now we need to change the laws up again, right? And so now a lot of times we feel pigeonholed. Is that what we need to do?
Go ahead.
I mean, you make a very valid point. If you look at the list right now, I don't know exactly who all is on the list, but I'm quite confident. If you look at a list of the 10 black billionaires in the United States, 8 of them in music and entertainment. I know David Stewart and Robert Smith, the only 2 that's not. There may be one more.
So what about the white billionaire?
Oh, they got money from all over the place. You know what I mean? But for us, that has been our lane. That's been our lane in the last 40, 50 years to acquire massive amounts of wealth has been through entertainment. And so we've taken that, you know what I mean? Whether it be the rappers or Tyler Perry or Michael Jordan or whoever, LeBron, we've taken that.
So when you take that, you really lacking, I shouldn't say lacking, because to be a real good singer, you got to have a skill set, right? You can write music. To be a good actor, it is a skill set. However, it's still so dependent on others. You know what I mean? It's still very, very difficult to be that self-made person.
But the whole thing is that if you look at, we call it and we sort of diminish artistic talent a lot sometimes in this world. Like, for example, if you think about it in the Middle East, the discovery of oil, right? Rich mineral resource in the earth. I mean, rich petroleum resource in the earth. The wealth. Now, people act like gas been around forever, right? That oil was discovered early part of the 1900s or whenever, right? When they started,
on the Beverly Hills
refining Yeah, Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah, right.
Jay.
No,
But,
that Osage
my point is
Nation
though,
joint.
that our talent is a reserve that God put in us.
That's correct.
Our God-given artistic ability, our ability to sing, to be in harmony with music and notes and melodies and creativity with language. These are things that have been exhibited coming out of us since Africa, since before they called Africa Africa, since the first man. We that's what we do, right? So I'm not gonna diminish it like people be like, that's our only language. Because yeah, it should be, because we the best at it.
I'm not diminishing it, but it shouldn't be your only lane.
No, I'm saying I'm not diminishing it as a commodity, not because of what you said. So, but my point about that, the problem with it is that it, like everything else, our intellect, like our physical labor, like everything else, it has been exploited and manipulated from the time we have been in this hemisphere. So that we've always needed a benefactor. Chicken George needed a benefactor to help him fight chickens.
Yeah, kid.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So we've always needed a benefactor, and we grow. Chicken George is a good metaphor for this. And then we grow, and we the finest looking slave on the plantation because we fight roosters better than the other slaves. So they treat us better, than we get the big piece of chicken. And we walk around, with our chest poked out, till the next rooster fighter come along.
Yeah.
Tell Biggie come along. Tell Jay-Z. Tell us. And so the exploitation it continued. It just ain't never stopped.
In a different form, right?
But what got halted was after Reconstruction, the business, the industry. Right. After the Harlem Renaissance, the business, the industry, with Garvey, independence. After before civil rights, the business, the industry left. So that's why we don't have no more, because we didn't in the 60s decide to stay economically independent. Let's talk.
And it's just like
we didn't decide to do that. Our strategy was, according to Julian Bond and Dick Gregory, was we did not think about economics.
Well,
that's what Julian Bond said to us.
Well, I saw I'll think of his name in a minute. He was talking about Dr. King. And he said Dr. King said to him before he passed away, he said, my greatest fear, and I think we're doing it, is that we are integrating into a burning building. Harry Belafonte said it. Yeah, we are integrating into a burning building, a burning house. We're integrating into a burning house. And so, yeah, that was the component that was left out.
Now, let me, as a young black man growing up in the 70s, and respect all of them, hindsight is 20/20 analysis.
Right.
Well, he said it in the 60s, but yeah.
But no, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, I'm saying my comments is not in judgment of those great men.
Absolutely.
Because when we were sitting with Julian Bond, he was authentic enough to say, I don't know if you remember, man, we didn't know, man. We was just out there trying to make it happen.
Trying to get some victories. Trying to get some victories.
Well, Mr.
Philosophically, on the level of hindsight analysis of what we talking about, economy and all that, there's some points to look at.
But like and piggybacking on what you're saying, is because we are architects, we are engineers, we are leaders of industry, But if that's not cultivated, and people think we can't do that, we can't start those type of businesses, we can't lead those businesses. However, we can, and we will able to do that. So not saying are those same pitfalls in that same industry, because going back to our original question, right? Well, only thing we can teach our children, I think they're born with a certain aptitude, right? And we can instill a work ethic, we can instill discipline as best we can, right? And they have a certain aptitude. But beyond that, right? Once you maximize your discipline, I get my rest, I work hard, I'm staying focused. And it's building relationships, right?
Yeah.
And so now, and within those relationships, we always talk about relationship building, but it's still a point, a stopping point. Hey, I'm not going beyond this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where do we teach them to draw that line between your, like you talked about earlier, you didn't say it, but you was talking about your value system, your morals. When you mentioned what's the word I'm looking for? To come back, what come around, go around. Karma.
Yeah.
Where's the value system within the karma?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because some people believe in it, some people don't. But it still comes with implication that it's a value of morality implicit with that karma.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
you do good, good come to you.
Right.
You do bad, bad. But some people version of good and bad, it ain't all
relative,
the same.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I got
blessings to all of our businesses who are interested in advertising. We have great affordable rates. And if you'd like to advertise on our B2M Crew podcast, please reach out to us at b2mcrew5@gmail.com.
Yeah.
I got to ask Talik. So Talik, you moved from here, a small southern town, at 18 or 19. I'm not sure the exact age.
Yeah.
To a major city, Atlanta, in the 90s. Right? Even those small southern towns, everybody knows now, but had components of what was going on in major urban cities. Everybody had crack, everybody had all this and that. So it's not like you were going down that green, and you went down as a student, but ended up becoming an entrepreneur. And in doing that, you're dealing with a lot of people to come up.
They come what?
To come up, on your come up.
Oh, yeah,
with your businesses, with your ventures, right?
Right.
What are your lessons learned about this topic? Like, what did you learn about maintaining your dignity when you out there with shiesty people that's trying to hustle when you on your come up, or you see the come up being shiesty and being slick when you might have had a past being able to do that? So what are the lessons learned you care? I'm just being honest.
He might have had a past.
I'm just saying all of us
That's
as
true.
teenagers in the crack era, everybody tried to do something. But he's talked about it on the podcast.
Right.
But to that point, yeah, what are your thoughts about all this maintaining dignity in the pursuit
What he
of
trying to
success?
say when you were selling all the meat on the meat truck, and that man from Texas that owned 10,000 head of cattle said, you can have this beef if you take this beef. You know what I mean?
No, sir.
I'm gonna give you 30 trucks.
Nah. I saw a lot. I saw a lot when I went to Atlanta, and it really exposed me to a whole new life. One did
a
I
whole new way of life.
Yeah. One that I was dreaming about. Did I knew if I stayed here I wouldn't be able to attain it. And the reason is that because when I was young and I got in trouble, in a small city you become a marked man. And it's so hard to redeem yourself. You can pay your price and so forth, but I could start all over when I went to Atlanta, and I could start from ground zero. And a lot of the things that I learned from, scalping tickets, I was able to apply in my business, and it was a journey. It was a journey, and you see people clinging to you because they see your go-getter ethics, your hustle. You smart, you moving different than other people. And so that's attractive. But I didn't understand that when I was moving. And my mom always say, she say, choose your friends, don't let your friends choose you. And that's when I start understanding what that meant, because I had no idea. I mean, I hear what she's saying, but being able to articulate it. And I learned that when I started becoming an entrepreneur, and I seen how people was trying to get close to me and wanting to be my business partner and so forth like that.
How you deal with crooked business partners? What'd you learn dealing with dudes you bought in that you trusted, and you bought them in, and then they turned out to be shiesty? They turned out to be full of that larceny.
Yeah, man. Well, it was a learning lesson. And one thing about it is I had to make sure I didn't go to my street ways wanting to fight and stuff like that. So I had, I became mature in those areas. And so one of those things that, we had to sit down at the table. And when we couldn't come to a meeting of the mind, I always say, hey, we got to cut our losses. And we divide the business up. And some went well, some didn't, But at the end of the day, I knew that they could not take away my skill set. I might lose a few $1,000s here with money, inventory, etc.
Why didn't the money matter?
Because I knew my skill set. And I knew I was taking a loss. I was cutting my losses.
But why didn't taking a loss matter in terms of your pride, your ego? They got you.
I ain't had no pride and ego there. Yeah.
And that's what you passed on to Reek,
I think one of the things that, I try to share is that if you made it once, you can make it again.
I was just about to say something.
You did it once. I remember, I don't know, 20 plus years ago, me and my wife being in a financial situation where we had to file bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. And that was a challenging time. And I remember my wife being so upset and distraught because at one point she had an 800 credit score and
did your wife know you telling the story? Did you get
That's
this
okay.
clear?
I said we filed bankruptcy. I said she.
Let me tell you something. You can't tell that story unless you got a lot of money in the bank now. You can't even tell that story unless you got a lot of money right now, bro.
Statute of limitations
up. Because otherwise, when you go, why you letting everybody know we broke?
Yeah.
Hey, we used to be broke.
Yeah, man. I just remember, man, my wife being so distraught, I worked so hard and my credit was so good. And I was like, listen, I said, you made the credit score. The credit score didn't make you. You made 800 once, you'll make it 800 again. It's just something we got to go through right now.
That is the most beautiful explanation for telling your wife we filing bankruptcy I've ever heard in my life. What a motivational message. No, listen.
Hey, man, listen. Hey, let me say this.
We already talked about if you grew up like we did chasing the rat race, bankruptcy is not uncommon among brothers our age that was trying to get it.
Hey, them folks been filing bankruptcy for years.
Yeah. It's a strategy.
I'm trying somebody to just say, Buffett filed bankruptcy, however many times? Or
Donald Trump 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. I said if that was
several
the case
times.
and he can make millions, I said, well, I'm on track.
Rule number one, if you gonna marry an entrepreneur, you need to know bankruptcy might be one of them cards you turn over one day. You know what I mean? Like
you gonna play the bankruptcy card.
Oh yeah, you. If you marry me, bankruptcy gonna be one of them cards in the deck. Yeah, like you got to know that. And
why she got to know that? How do you expect a woman to deal with that, Joaquin?
Because I done told you who I am. Okay, I done told you who I am. All right, and I have to prepare her for the ups and downs of this journey we about to go on. That's right, because my Uncle Tommy used to say, nephew, when you're looking for a woman, if she can't handle the struggle, she can't handle the victory. Make sure you choose a woman that's going to be in that bankruptcy office with you when you got to go through. Because once we did that, guess what? Now when we flying to Paris, she with me too.
Okay.
What Uncle T said.
That's how that works.
If she can't do what?
If she can't handle the struggle, she's not going to be able to handle the victory. Think about how many women, man, when dudes going through tough times and them women don't stick with them.
Right.
And they're like, I'm out of here. I can't do this. I saw Country Wayne on Club Shay Shay, and he talked about that. He was like, man, I was down and out, and my lady was like, look, you got to get a job or you got to go.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, boom, he hit. But like that was a woman that just was not prepared to handle the struggle. And so I gotta choose a wife.
If they don't do that, I question whether they believed in them in the beginning.
They didn't.
I mean, real talk. You didn't believe it. You couldn't believe in them in the beginning if you trip out.
Some of them just say, hey,
what
listen,
the hell the better or for worse
you
mean?
might choose a woman that say, listen, I don't want to be rich. Just get a job, go to work at 8 o'clock, come home at 5 o'clock. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But if that's what she thinks, me and her got to break up because I ain't her guy.
Let me tell you something like that. If that's I'm going to get in trouble.
No, sir, brother.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying though, but really, that type of lack of ambition, like if you don't know that that we complement one another in a way that if you see me being that complacent, you're going to fall out of love with me because it's not in your nature to see me not be a builder. If you that ignorant and don't know that yet, I need to run.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
She ain't for you.
Yeah, no.
She not for
and she not gonna be for who thinks she's for him.
Yeah, it's funny that he was saying. I was reading a book last month by Alex Hormozi, $100 million offer, and in the book he was talking about being an entrepreneur, and his girlfriend at the time, you know, they ran into some financial problems, and you know, went dead broke, and he was looking, you know, like, what you gonna do? And she said, I believe in you. And if you, I really, really believe that we could change some things around and turn this thing around. And he had one credit card from another business that had like, maybe 100 G's on it. And I think he maxed it out and bought it back. And the rest was history.
Man, I don't know why this conversation going in the direction it's going, but why he points out something powerful, man. So when we talking about as an adult now, as a child, we talked about maintaining your integrity, but as an adult male, maintaining your integrity, that woman you choose,
everything,
is critical. So if it's in you to please her and you in the relationship to please her and make her happy, if her happiness is based on foolishness and ego-driven madness that pushes you to get some things that you ain't ready to get and take some steps you ain't ready to take to make her happy, you got a problem on your hands. You know what I'm saying? Like you damn near guaranteed to slip if you don't know what's going on. Because if you love her, you want her happy, right?
Right.
So how do I'm thinking about what I'm gonna tell my sons when I get home. We gotta have this conversation. Because you love her and you know her goodness in the way she's goodness, but potentially some of her failings or weaknesses is that there are some things that can drive you to compromise what's normally sound integrity.
I think
that's real, man. That's real.
What you're saying is so accurate, but what it says too, to what he said earlier, is if you know who you are before you get in that relationship, right? And so much of that is timing. If you know did you know this at 16 or 26? If you're dealing with me, this may be an option. You know what I mean? The bankruptcy or millions. We gonna go up and it may happen, right?
we might do both.
Yeah, exactly. It might be. So when, at what point, agreeing with what you're saying as well, because that decision is so crucial. But do you know yourself and hey, this is who I am. This is my strength. This is my weaknesses. But this is who I'm in. I'm not gonna compromise for that. You with me or you not with me? You know. And again, I guess that goes back to when you're raising your boys. Who are you?
Yeah. That's right.
Who are you?
So what the very first thing I said in the beginning. Got to know who you are.
Sons, if you tell your sons to decide whether that's the one or not, right? I was just thinking about this. This is a very simple test. This is a theory. I'm testing it out.
All right.
This is not well thought out.
Well, my son's sitting right there, so you can ask.
I don't know if we can ask that question around here because of the type of area we live in. I explain in a second.
Okay, all right.
If there's a sister or chick that has never ridden on a motorcycle before, that's what I mean by being around here. You likely to probably got on a bike around here, growing up some way. And you say, look, get on the back of this motorcycle. You know she's scared of motorcycles. Will you ride on the back of this motorcycle? I just want you to ride up the street with me and back one time. If she says yes and challenges her fears, does that mean she's willing to go through that bankruptcy with you? If she says no, say you tried 2 or 3 times, to get her security about it, and she never says yes, does that mean she possibly cannot challenge her fears when it comes to the crisis that y'all face?
That's not a bad test.
Are you really gonna ride?
And you can take it off the motorcycle and put it in something else that whatever.
Are you really gonna ride up the street and back? Or are you gonna get on the highway and go about $130, $140, $150?
No, you're gonna do it at a moderate anything to challenge her fear, but be safe.
Hey, I just had this happen. Now, obviously, I've been married 30 years, but we were in, what was we at, Cozumel, Bahamas somewhere? Jet skiing.
Okay.
Man, Tracy was like, I'm not getting on the back of that thing with you. I'm like, come on, Tracy. I mean, what? But
you got 30 years here, bro.
I know. And she was still like, I'm not getting on it. No, I'm about to tell you. She like, I'm not getting on that jet ski with you. No, no weight limit.
It's two of me can get on there, but two of you.
That's a low blow right there.
But after about 5 minutes, man, she was like, all right, I'll get on.
Okay.
And she got on and she wrote. And I was careful. You know what I mean? It was actually more difficult with her on because I was going slower. It was harder to drive it going slower than it was if I would have put a little speed on it.
You know why she got on that jet ski?
Why?
Because she been through bankruptcy with you.
There you go.
We can make it through bankruptcy.
That's right.
We done made it through that. We made it through those ways.
He gonna take care of me.
That's what I'm saying.
We done been through it.
That's a litmus test. So the thing is, whatever they fear, ask them to do it with you.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Does that mean anything?
She did it with me.
But wait, one of the Jones I saw was when you take a lady out on the first date and you open up the door and let her in the car, right? Boop, close your ears. And by the time you get to the other side, if she don't, now this is old school, right? If she don't open up the door for you.
De Niro's joint. New York Tale or something.
Man, we got training issues these days, though.
Yeah.
We got professional development issue at home. Like these women not being trained like them women were to open them locks back in the day.
What you talking about training women? These women are independent, man. They don't need no
women
training.
are like, why don't you just use your automatic locks? I mean, like that's stupid to me to come around and open your stuff. Like but I get what you saying.
Yeah.
It's an old time.
The point is,
Was it a Bronx Tale?
If you can't do a chivalrous gesture for me, that means something.
Yeah, right.
If you're not aware of that.
Street. It's
not chivalrous. I'm saying kind.
Yeah, that's chivalrous.
Yeah.
Thoughtful.
I don't know if they call it chivalrous for females.
How did our
for females
get to all of this right here?
Because it is about. I mean, we talking about what the message we trying to teach our young people in terms of.
But let's
how
bring
we
it
got
back.
here was a woman of integrity is important in keeping your adult integrity. And now we're saying, how do we test whether they have the type of integrity?
Whether they have
okay.
We got to get back to the original. What is the price of fame? We're not chasing fame. Money, success.
But yeah, the rule is the price of
fame.
What will you do?
Tyreek chasing fame.
You chasing fame, son?
No, he's chasing stories
What's my baby name?
Oh, my bad,
What's her name? Tyron Hall.
Boy, I'm glad we got a G-rated podcast.
Tamron. hey, if Tamron said Tyreek, I'm gonna put you on. You gotta come kick it with me. I got 7 figures for you.
Tamron Hall.
Hall.
I got a better one.
You gotta rub my feet.
I'm gonna start with Tamron.
Hey man.
I'm sorry. I tried.
Hey, time out.
Starting with Tamron.
Bring it up.
Time out.
Hey, I withdraw that.
Time out. What y'all think I've been doing to myself? Y'all think I've been teaching them to sell the soul?
Man, hey. Tamron ain't got what you got. She can't talk about what you can talk about.
You said he like cool.
But I ain't say that.
No, I'm just joking.
Hey, I taught my son not to sell his soul.
There you go.
That's what I taught him.
And how you do it?
And how you do it?
How'd you do it?
How'd you do it?
Hey, basically, I showed him how to go out and to earn his own. You don't have to depend on nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You don't have to depend on nobody. This is how you build it from the ground up.
What if he can do that and have generational wealth?
He is going to do that. Ain't going to have generational
It's not an
wealth.
either or.
Yeah.
It ain't?
We don't believe it.
It can be.
We don't believe it to be.
So
as long as you don't
like if you stand on
put out that option,
world, we talked about there's a price to pay sometimes.
Yeah, but as long as you don't believe it's a either or, you still gonna continue to pursue.
You're fine.
And so the outcome,
is the happiness, right?
Yeah, the outcome is irrelevant.
Everybody got a price, and so y'all would tell a woman, every woman has
Everybody
a price.
don't have a price.
You don't?
Nah.
you hadn't met that person that could write that check.
Nah, see, that's what's wrong with society right now.
Yeah, I don't have a price.
It started off when we was little kids, and the conversation is, I double triple dare you to jump over this lake right here. I double triple dare you, and then when they little, they'll say, how much money you got? Or I'll do anything for money. And it starts planting them seeds.
Or how many girls was watching. So when you know you can make that
But that's back to what you talking about, that poverty mindset about that money thing being because money was scarce. So it was a value of somebody asked you to risk your life for 38 cents.
I'm just saying.
Right.
No. As kids, we did some. I said 38 cents. It might have been a 25-cent soda back in the day at the machine, right?
I totally understand what you said, poverty mindset. But when you dealing with the innocent of a child, they double and triple dare kids to do anything. It ain't got no poverty mindset.
Right.
And
so
people
it's about acceptance.
And not only that, you got wealthy kids that don't even know that they wealthy that will do these things. They don't know they wealthy.
So what they lacking?
They just don't know.
They lacking something.
Accepted.
That's what it is.
I want to be accepted.
It could be.
What else you doing it for?
It could,
but I'm just saying, it could be entertainment.
If you're not,
you could be the class clown. It
but
could be anything.
That's still accepted.
Okay, well, accept it.
Yeah.
Let me say this: it's easy, and my son was sharing this with me. It's easy when the decision is black and white. What about when you find yourself as a little boy? You was 12 years old, and you've been looking at Kim Kardashian and Khloe Kardashian and all these Kardashian girls, and now you 21, and you just signed a $50 million contract. You've been looking at this woman for years. And now you start to make some decisions about being with her. We see them women with athlete after athlete after athlete after athlete. And everybody is like, why in the world are those dudes going with those women again? And it's a new batch of them every time. It don't matter how. See, that's an easy example. That's when the lines get blurred.
But you know what?
Because
but I can take it back to, I can take that same example back to a practical everyday dude that fell in love with a stripper. He worked at the gas station.
I know a lot of people fell in love with.
My point is, it's all of it again is what I think I need to make me feel good about myself. If it's the gas station dude, I need this beautiful woman that I can't access to make me feel like she loves me when I go to the strip club. If it's the athlete you talking about, is I've been wanting this all my life and now I've arrived. I'm there. I'm here. Even with all of the history of player after player, like Scottie Pippen's ex-wife, like Michael Jordan's son. We all know that one dude. Yo, man, don't spend all your money when you go in there, bro. Don't do it. Yo, bro, they do not love you. Seriously. Listen, man, she doesn't like you, right? We all know that guy.
We're not going to call his name.
Right. So listen. So,
wow.
Nobody on the stage. And I'm hypothetically speaking about these clubs I've read about. But,
I read about
but my point is, we know that guy. They all want the same thing. I want to look. I'm the man. I'm balling. I got this section.
Yeah.
And you collapse because ultimately, if you haven't somebody, or OG haven't taught you, or we haven't taught our sons, that man, let me tell you something. Sex can control you. And if you let it control you and make your decisions, you're going to be broke, you're going to be hurt, you're going to be, you know what I'm saying? So if you don't know that, and you went to the NBA yet, and unfortunately a lot of them may not because of what they've seen on TV, but to Joaquin's point, that's how they getting got.
Man, you know,
they've been wanting it all their life.
It's easy when you're hanging out with Kim Kardashian or whoever it may be, and I'm just using her, she's the most famous one. And you want to be with these women, and the next thing you know, now you're in a real deviant situation. You know, when it was just her, it was okay. But now you're in a room and it's this person and that person. when you don't know who you are, man, you will do anything. Here's the thing. I talk to my boys. I know what their weakness is. All right? Generally, I know what your weaknesses are. And you better know it too. Don't lie to yourself about what your weakness is. Yeah. And know when you're vulnerable. Because that's what the devil gonna send to you.
Yeah.
That's what the devil gonna send to you.
Every time.
And so it don't matter if it's gonna be one of these 5 things. It's gonna be drugs, women, money, and sex. I mean, and women, sex, drugs, alcohol.
By
same
way of
thing.
deception.
Right.
The book about Mossad, they said the spies say, Israeli spies say that they can get anybody to turn if they want money, sex, or with those 3 things.
Yeah.
They said they can get any man to turn.
Exactly. Wow. If that's his weakness.
Right.
That's why you got to know who you are and stand on a set of principles.
Yeah.
Because when you go out here in this world and you don't know who you are, and like I said before, it don't matter whether you in the boardroom or whether you in a penitentiary. Because this is gonna be a dude that roll up on you and be like, all right, I want something from you. How you gonna handle it? Man, it gotta be some things you willing to die for.
Hey, come on, Joaquin.
You got to have something you willing to die for, man.
If any man be my disciple, he must first deny himself.
Right.
You gotta deny yourself love, money, all of that. But you gotta be willing to die over that, right?
Yeah, you got to be willing to die for certain things. And then if they say, you know what, Joaquin,
you're not gonna get this $25 million.
Then I don't get it.
Yeah.
Then I don't. Man, I remember.
How do you live with yourself? How do we live with ourselves now when we make mistakes and we know we should have done better? It's the worst feeling when we know we could have done better.
The pain of regret.
How do you live with yourself if you give your soul away, though?
Oh,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Right. You can't even enjoy what
you
it is.
You will never escape the demon.
A lot of blues singers and gave their soul away.
Say again, JG.
I said a whole lot of blues singers and gave their soul
blues and everything else.
Hey, all right, let me ask y'all this though. All right, so you know how a lot of people equate racism, sexism, etc. Right? Similarities, but I don't think it's the same. So
just
back in the day,
another ism.
Back in the days, a whole lot of, and we talking about the entertainment business. We had to do some things that were not. We had to do some things that were not very. We had to play the maid role, right? We had to play the stereotypical roles. And we talking about entertainment, right, and business. A lot of people like, why they play that role? And now, a lot of times we look at them like that was their only option. This is what they had to do, right, to pave the way for Harry Belafonte or Sidney Poitier, to pave the way for our entertainers now. So what would you say to those people that's like, if they had to do that, why you can't do this? Why you can't be a power bottom for TDJ? Why you can't take that?
Why you can't be a what?
You paving the way. Some people will say you
I was all bought in.
Some people will say that. Some people will make that argument.
Well, you be like, hey, look,
they couldn't compare that though. They couldn't
for
compare
me
that.
and mine.
Thank you, James.
They couldn't compare it to those times, whereas that was the.
Why not? Because some people.
It wasn't justified.
Some people would say it wasn't. Absolutely.
I mean, what you saying? I mean, like.
Now, some people would say the comments is homophobic that we talking about.
I would say not for me. I would say not for me and mine. Like we ain't taking one for the team.
You taking one for the village and for.
I don't know. I really what we're saying. I don't know how somebody could make a homophobic statement except to say that we don't prefer that lifestyle based on what we said. But beyond that, we were talking about someone being asked to do something for a job purpose.
That has
as
nothing
opposed
to do with
to
the job
being gay
itself.
sex.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
so, and potentially these people we talking about before that
Didn't matter if it was
reported
man or
that
woman.
they were straight before that.
Some
Yeah,
people
so-
would say, "Well, you wasn't just angry about the casting couch. Why are you so angry about this?"
No, we joke. We were obviously
yeah.
joking about we didn't have a problem with the casting
Yeah,
couch.
yeah,
I mean,
You just gotta have a set of values that you're willing to stand on
You do.
and down.
Right.
Like straight up. You just gotta have that. And if you don't know who you are, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. We all done heard that. You gotta know what you willing to stand on. The young people now say, I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Yeah, what's your business?
and
what
so
business you standing on?
yeah, you just gotta have a value system that's strong.
and
And let me say this. you can have a value system, but how to stand on it is another set of skills. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to know how to say no. It's really that simple. You have to, and I taught my fellas this at a young age. No is a complete sentence. We've all heard that. And you don't owe nobody an explanation. And if you don't want to find yourself in a world of mess in this life, you better know how to say no. You better know how to say no.
Define character. What's that quote about character in front of folks and character behind closed doors?
Oh, just character, personality is who you are to everyone. Character is who you are when no one's watching. So in a nutshell, that's what we talking about. What kind of character? See, because it's a lot of guys and women who they will, how I want to say this. They will scrap that thought. I don't want to say that.
Let it go.
There's a lot of people that scrap it. I ain't gonna say it.
Nah,
no,
you don't talk about bankruptcy.
You can't.
You don't talk about
scrap it. Bring it up.
Hey, I'm gonna say this, man.
No, scrap it. I ain't gonna say that.
What I would leave. One thing I think is important to remind people is that when we talk about that price to pay, did y'all see that? Everybody see The Color Purple yet?
Nope.
Anybody see?
Not all of it.
I ain't seen the first one, second one.
These are the
Yawning
most
now. You fell asleep on Color Purple.
No, brother, my wife did.
The most
We've been trying to watch it for weeks.
I never had an interest in watching it.
Like cinematic, like uncultured black moment, dude. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah,
I didn't want to see it because sometimes I don't think good art should be touched, but I like the treatment of it. And, well, first they said it was a musical. That tuned me out. But I liked how they did it. But anyway, there's a scene. Y'all probably not going to watch it. Or if you
I'm definitely not going to watch it.
Don't matter at this point.
Yeah.
Where Mr. Did y'all see the original one?
Nope.
Danny
Not
Glover.
me.
I did.
Chill, for real.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the
Wow.
B2M crew.
Yeah.
He did not love. But anyway,
That wasn't the price he's willing to pay.
Mr. is this dude, abusive black male,
Danny
sexually
Glover,
all
original.
around, that ends up feeling it at a certain
Played by
point.
Deion Cole.
In the remake, the Mr. is in the rain when he comes to the realization of what he's done and all of the weight of it is on him and his whole life is crumbling. They got him in the rain and the camera's on top of him, sort of spinning with the rain coming down, and he just laid out wailing till he passed out drunk. He was drunk, passed out wailing. I said, boy, when I thought about that, I've been there before. I'm talking about a time in your life when you reeling in it. The thought and the pain. And I ain't did nothing nowhere near like Mr. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the reality of I have messed up, or I'm broken, or I'm hurt, or I hurt for somebody else, or whatever that feeling we have when you feel all you are is on your back looking up to the sky, right? That's the price you pay when you give up your integrity for success. It's moments like that. And more moments like that than you can ever imagine. And not only that, you got babies watching you, and you're doing something to them, and you think they don't see you, and you end up cursing them to an adulthood of dealing with mental health problems and pain because you didn't think they know you sold your soul for the devil.
Wow.
That's the price. It's the B2M crew chopping it up about how do we maintain integrity in the pursuit of success. We're at the Code Building in Charlottesville, Virginia. 5 brothers chopping it up about parenting. We've been friends for over 40 years with 12 sons. Executive produced by Win Productions. Check us out. Like, hashtag, follow us on YouTube. Joaquin, you got something to take us out with?
Yes, sir. In the words of the great Frederick Douglass, it is easier to raise strong children than to repair broken men. Peace.
Peace, peace.
And I won't stop until I'm winning. I'ma show them how true and independent get it. Whole game changed by the time I'm finished with it. We about to get this business handled in a minute. And I won't stop until I'm winning. They don't want me in the office 'cause